up, I'm up and running. I hit the floor, I hit the ground running. But
Mm-hmm.
and it's funny because I think it's part of my upbringing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny how much stuff we have like from our upbringing, but to me it's so hilarious when I think about it because when I was a kid, my mom used to wake me up on the dot. She was like, I'm gonna wake you up on the dot, but when you
Yeah.
wake up, I need you to
Yeah.
keep like go. So I knew when she was waking me up, it was like wake up or you're getting hit by somebody. So
Wake
right now is like yeah. So right now is like I wake up, I might stay in my bed like looking at my phone, but um but I definitely I'm up. I'm not like
Mhm.
snoozing or anything like that. No matter how many hours of sleep I got, I just boom wake up. I do want to stop though. Looking at my phone first thing in the morning, it sets my
Mhm.
mood, and sometimes it doesn't set the right mood.
Mhm.
So I do want to stop that.
That's true. Like you might read the wrong thing. Like I had like on my Google Assistant, I had like this like a voice command set up. Like I'll be like, "Oh, hey Google, good morning." So it'll turn
Yeah.
on my lights. It'll like tell me the weather stuff. But then at the end, it starts telling me news, and I don't want to hear the
Right.
news when I wake up. It'll
Right.
be like, "Oh, Trump just decided to sign this and that," and telling me all these
Right.
news. Like, I don't want to hear this in the morning. So
Agree.
and then like for like my alarms, I remember like around high school I had maybe like 4 or 5 alarms. Like
Hmm.
I had because I had problems waking up, so I would have one at 5:30, then at 5:35, then at 5:45. And then I had one final alarm that was like, if you don't get up in this last alarm,
Right.
you're missing the bus. You ain't going to school today.
Right.
so so
But
the
it's so funny that happens because like how much sleep are you getting? Because you're thinking that you have to wake up, right?
mhm.
So how much sleep are you really getting, or how much more sleep are you really getting?
Yeah, not really that much. Yeah,
Nothing, right?
because then I'm just thinking in the back of my mind, I'm like, all right, this is the last alarm. I gotta get up
I
in it.
gotta wake up.
But then it's just like all it did for me was just me waiting for the last alarm. I just
Yeah,
snoozed each one and I never woke up at the first one. So I didn't like
right.
that. I wanted to like discipline myself to have
Hmm.
one alarm, wake up to it, and if I don't, then I don't go to school. And then
Right.
I started doing that around the time that I was working at the airport, and I had like multiple alarms like that. And I was like, all right, tomorrow I'm putting one alarm. If I don't wake up for that alarm, I ain't going to work and I'm probably gonna get fired. So so I forced myself to do that so that I can like discipline myself. So ever since then, I only have one alarm. Most of the time I don't listen to it. I'll like snooze it, but then I'll just like automatically like wake myself up. And like there's been just a few like times, not that many, but a few times where like I keep sleeping and then I wake up way later. But I usually don't get really late to places, but I've been like good with trying to like just keep one alarm and wake up to it.
Hmm.
And lately, I don't know what it is, but I get tired of the sound of the alarms.
Yeah.
So when I set alarms, I just put it on vibrate. So which is risky sometimes because you don't know if you're gonna hear it, but
Right. I don't have a deep sleep, and I don't think I'm a light sleeper either. I just feel like I have a normal range of sleep deep, I guess
hmm
is the word for it, or the phrase or whatever.
hmm
But I change my alarm constantly because what happens is I get annoyed and I
hmm
wake up in a mood.
yeah,
So I'm like, what the hell is this like again?
yeah,
So what I do is I change it, and sometimes I put songs, and I put songs intentionally that start soft,
hmm
so that way it's starting to it's kind of wakes me up.
yeah, yeah.
So
That's
that
true.
way it adjusts my mood. It's not like I'm waking up to that annoying Apple.
Oh, yeah. I just got an iPhone, so but I know everyone like once you play that one distinct alarm sound, everyone's just like
Yeah,
cringes. It's like, oh, here it
yeah, and you can hear that alarm rooms away. Like I
comes.
can hear my roommate's alarm when it goes off. I'm like, fuck.
And it's just like, oh no, no, I don't want to hear
Yeah,
that. That's like
no,
it
I don't
makes you
want to
like
hear that.
cringe. But like
Yeah.
on my other phone, I had like the automatic alarm, so it would play like different kinds of songs. Like
Hmm.
it would play sometimes the same one, but it was like a very soft intro.
Yeah.
Like I had like with the Google Assistant, so it would go off like a little soft song, and then it'll be like, "Good morning, today
Yeah.
is this and this, blah blah blah." And
Got it.
I liked it for a little bit. I wish there was just like a thing where it's just like your alarms can be connected to like Apple Music or to Spotify, and it looks like whatever songs you play or listen to the most,
Mm-hmm.
and just grabs
Yeah.
those songs and just plays them in the morning.
So what made you change from I guess you had Android before because you just changed to Apple, right? So
Yeah.
what made you change? What's going on? Let me pick your brain on
So
that.
so I've had pretty much Samsung all my life. So
Mm-hmm.
I had the Galaxy S2, you know, the S5, 6, 7, 8, so on and so forth. And then obviously I was once the last one I had, it was a Galaxy. It was the Galaxy S8, and I bought that almost 3 years ago. So
Got it.
it wasn't until like a month or almost a month ago that it just started crashing out of nowhere. Like I was just on my phone and the screen just went black, or it just went like it was like spazzing out and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh snap. And I freaked out because I haven't like backed up anything on my phone in a while. So I was able to fix it. And like once the screen was working, then I just started backing everything up just in case it just like completely shut off on me. So
Mm-hmm.
then I was like, dang, now I gotta think about getting a new phone. It was funny because I was trying to ride out that storm for so long because like that would happen and the screen will go out, but like the phone will still be working. So I can feel like
Right.
buttons, like the vibration, like things are working,
Right.
but the screen is black. So whenever the screen will go out like that and I know the phone's still working, I have to like play with it. I'll hold the power button to like and I turn it off. So I have to like guess where the power is. So I have to like let me see where my phone is. So like this was like with the phone,
Right.
press the power button and then I have to like guess where
Guess. Right.
where the off thing would be, and then once it turns off, then I know I'm good because once I turn it on and I like restart it, then the screen works again. So I did that.
Got it.
I was doing that for like a few days or a few weeks, and I was getting ready. I was like, I'm just gonna get another like Galaxy or whatever. And then my wife, my brother-in-law, and my brother told me, "Hold up, you said whenever your phone would mess up or start messing up, you would get an iPhone." Now,
Right.
to this day, I don't remember saying those words, but they said I said it, so I was like, all right, I'll stick to my word then.
If
So
three people say I said it, then I said
yeah, exactly. If three
it.
people are saying I said it, so I was like, all right. So then I was like, all right, let me go get an iPhone. So I bought this one. I was able to pay it off to it. It's just a regular 11. So I
Mm-hmm.
bought it, and I mean I'm enjoying it. I like it. It's just like there's some things that I miss from my other phone that's just like
Mm-hmm.
that
Got it.
I used a lot, like just different shortcuts and stuff like that I miss.
Yeah.
But I do like how on Apple, like how everything works with each other, and
Synchronized. Yep.
yeah, everything is just like works so like smoothly with each other. Especially
Flawlessly. Yep. It
this
does.
last update. Did you get this last update?
I got this last update, but I haven't. We work together, so you know my
Yeah.
work schedule and how crazy it is. But
Mm-hmm.
um, I haven't had time to like dive deep into it and like learn the new stuff. I've seen a lot of like in social media and like pictures and things how you could like. I guess they're trying to mimic Android and how you could like um, personalize your phone a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't had that opportunity, but I'm not tripping over it. There's a lot of things
Mm-hmm.
I'm not tripping over lately, so that's not one of
Yeah.
the things that I'm really trying. It's not on my priority list right now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when I get to it, I get to
Yeah,
it.
exactly. I know, like I joined or got an iPhone at the right time because that update I love it so much. It's a really good
Yeah,
update, and like I like especially like how the Siri comes up. I don't know if you've tried using the Siri yet.
I have never. When I tell you, I've never used Siri before. I haven't even set it up. Even when I get my phones, I intentionally like don't set it up, and it's
Mm-hmm.
not like I just never used it. Like I
Yeah,
just rather how you could swipe like from the top, how you could
yeah,
swipe and right, like you could type there what you want instead of saying it to Siri. So
mm-hmm.
I rather just using that. It's nothing like, oh, the government is listening to me. Nothing. It's
Yeah,
nothing like that. It's just I I never got used to it, and I really don't like it.
yeah, yeah. I like how the feature is actually in this new update. What I really like that's kind of like I wouldn't say hidden, but I do like how they added that on is in the top right of your phone. When you're on a specific app, it like a orange light will turn on if the
Yep,
microphone is being
it's
used,
on. Yeah.
and the green light will turn on if your camera is being used.
Oh,
So
I didn't know about the green one. I know about the orange one.
yeah, so like when
I don't
I'm
know about
on
the green
Google,
one.
for example, when I'm just scrolling through Google, like on the actual Google search, the orange one is on. So pretty much like like Google, like is detecting your
It's
microphone.
listening to you.
Yeah, so you get
No
that right
wonder,
there.
no wonder when you're searching something and then you go on your Instagram, you have all that stuff there, and
Yo,
it's like,
oh my gosh. Yeah. You know, I've been talking about that for so long. I don't know what it is. I don't know if like we just us as humans have just gotten to a point where we're just like, whatever. In the beginning it was freaking, and it's
yes,
still
yeah.
freaking now, but we're
So
just like,
I don't know if you watched the documentary. It's called it's on Netflix, and I forgot the name, but let me get you the name because it's really good. And if anybody's listening, they should watch it.
is
And
it
it's not
the
to
new
freak.
one?
Yeah, it's fairly new, and it's
Okay.
not to freak anybody out or anything like that. But it's literally how technology and techs are using us as numbers
Mm-hmm.
to get money. But I'm gonna tell you the name right now, and I want everybody that's listening to see it.
Mm-hmm.
And just see it with an open mind. Where is it? Gonna have to Google it, but I
Mm-hmm.
wanna tech documentary. See if that comes up. There we go. The Social Dilemma.
Yep,
That's
that's
what
the
it's
one I was
called.
about to say. I know it was
Yeah,
something dilemma.
yeah. The Social Dilemma. It is so eye-opening, um, and it also shows you how you can use social media and not social media use you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because we tend to follow the hype. I call it. I call the hype when
Mm-hmm.
we follow a influencer and we let that influencer tell us what we need instead
Mm-hmm.
of us deciding if we need it or not, right?
Mm-hmm.
So things like that, and that documentary really shocked me. I was already on that wave, like, like not using social media so much, and like giving myself, like I told you earlier, I have two alarms. I give myself 15 minutes at the beginning of the day to use my social media. At night, I kind of don't track it, but still, I get tired, from my daily routine, and then it's not much that I'm using social media. But when at night, but still, it gives you like an eye-opening experience into, or basically like they open the doors into what's really going on, and some of the technology that they have spent millions and millions of dollars on,
Mm-hmm.
just to attract people so that they could gain more money with our information and stuff like that. So it's everybody should watch that.
It's yeah. I haven't watched it, but I saw like the preview of it on Netflix. You know how they show the
Hmm.
previews and everything, and I was like, "Oh, this looks interesting." And
Yeah.
the creepiest thing, the creepiest like the latest situation that happened. I was on my phone on Instagram, and I
Hmm.
was just going through stories, and I saw my friends. I was watching one of my friends' story, and he was like cooking or whatever, and he was just playing music, like he added music to the story or whatever.
Hmm.
My wife was next to me and she was just scrolling through TikTok. So tell me how I don't believe in coincidences. So tell me how I was on the story, right? Like listening to that song that of my
Hmm.
friend or whatever. And then I swipe to the next story or whatever. And then my wife, as soon as she scrolls up to the next TikTok, the audio is playing
Yeah.
on that like TikTok.
Yeah.
I
It's
was
not a
just like
coincidence.
I was like, whoa, that
if
is
you
insane.
if you watch the documentary, it talks about that. Actually, it talks about these new apps having a lot more um technology and more investing so much more in that. So for example, they were talking about how how Instagram changed like a couple of years ago, maybe a couple of years ago, they changed from timely order into just random order. Like when you would scroll up, you would
Oh
never
yeah.
see the last post that was posted. You
Hmm.
would see like a random stuff, and then you will see like 2 days ago. And you're like,
Yep.
wait,
Yeah,
this
right?
is like I'm like in this moment. So that's a new technology that they're putting there whatever they think you might like more based on your likes, based on your
Hmm.
searches and stuff like that. So they were actually talking about that too. So I mean, I want you to go watch it, man. I want you to go
Yeah.
watch it, and you should
I'll
definitely
probably go watch it
do
after.
something about that. Yeah.
But yeah, and I noticed that too. And I don't think it was a documentary. I watched like a video about that too, that like especially for like creators and stuff like that too, like it's very hard for you because basically like Instagram, like you said, it will pick information that's relevant for you. So
Mm-hmm.
if you see, like, if I, let's say I have like my podcast page, right, and it doesn't have that much following or whatever, it's going to be hard for that to come up at the top of people's
Yep.
thing unless they're engaging in that. So it's
Exactly.
going to be hard for, like, for me to get that outreach, because it's not Instagram, the way the algorithm works, is not going to put it at
Yep.
the top because no one's engaging with it, no one's interested in it. So it's
Right.
just going to stay at the very bottom. So
Yeah.
it's like a very weird algorithm, and you have to kind of like force yourself to kind of find ways to like increase that audience, because the algorithm of Instagram isn't going to help you out with that.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I liked it before when it was just like your recent posts, and it's just like, you know, very
I
simple.
honestly, yeah, I honestly like that. And you want to know something that's very hilarious? I didn't discover the discover page until a couple of months ago. Like I go on social media and I'm just looking, I'm just scrolling. I barely like, and it's not like I don't, I'm hating or anything. I
Yeah,
barely like double tapping to me is like a waste of time. I should just tap
yeah.
once and be able to like it.
Well,
But
like
anyway,
this,
I barely like. So the only reason I discovered the discover page was because I was trying to look for somebody to find. I don't know, who knows what I was looking for somebody for.
yeah.
I was lurking. I don't know what I was doing looking for somebody, but I was looking for somebody, and I'm like, whoa, food. Oh my God, what is this? So I
uh-huh.
start scrolling down. When I tell you there's like trips, food, um,
Uh-huh.
hot people, like people that I would like, that I would
Mhm.
find attractive. And I'm like,
Mm.
okay, this is what the discover page is. But I found myself like, instead of you going like looking at my followers or the people that I follow, which is why I'm on
Mhm.
social media to, connect with my friends, families, whatever. I found myself living in the discover page.
Mhm.
And what that created in me was a desire to spend more,
Mhm.
a desire to be more like, a
Mhm.
desire to want certain things that I really didn't need.
Mhm.
It got me hungry. Like let's talk about like
Yeah.
let's get real. Like I would eat and I would look at that. I'm like, oh my God, I want this. I'm hungry. I'm
Yep.
no, it's just the science behind it messing with your head. So I
Mhm.
stopped really going into that page because it just creates anxiety and creates like spending more money that you don't have to. Like it's a whole snowball of of things that could happen when you're on that page. And honestly, also what I've done is curated my social media into what I want to see.
Mhm.
I've unfollowed a lot of people that don't. I don't want to say I want to be careful what I'm saying, but I want to say that really don't align with what I am, what my purpose is anymore. So
Mhm.
I've even friends and family that we're friends and we're family and I love you, but if you don't align personally with what I want to get to in the next couple of months, I can't, like I can't have you around. I can't be too much in contact with you, and I definitely can't have you on social media.
Mhm.
um so it's been it's social media is a crazy thing, and we have to be very careful. We have to be
Yep.
very careful with how we use social media. Like that, like I said earlier, we can't let social media use us. We have to use social
Yeah, and it's like a very powerful tool, especially like us in our time now, where we
media.
have everything from within
At our
like our reach.
fingertips.
Like right here, we can access so many things. It's such a powerful tool, which is why like I feel like we have to, like, in a sense, intentionally see what we're getting ourselves into, you know, like see
Yep.
like all of these things that's available. Like if it, like you said, if it's you controlling it, you can
Hmm.
do so many great things with it.
Yeah.
But when you're just the average consumer and you just receive,
Hmm.
receive, 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 then that's gonna end up controlling you. And that's where that
Exactly.
addiction comes in. Like I remember times before, like I would spend, when I say hours, I would spend hours on just Twitter scrolling,
Yeah.
scrolling, scrolling. And and sometimes I don't do it anymore because like my time is crazy right now.
Yeah.
But before I would scroll on Twitter, and I'm probably the only person who does this. I might be crazy, but like when you're scrolling, I can see at the right like how low I am in the tweets. Like when you're scrolling down, like you can see how
Hmm.
far down you've been like going.
Yeah.
And I like to go all the way down until it doesn't let me scroll anymore. So like you scroll, like you can keep scrolling and then it loads more, but you get to a certain point where it's just like the end and it doesn't like
Really? I
Yeah,
didn't
and
know
like
that.
yeah, you get all the way to the bottom, and then you get like a dot, and it says like you can't scroll anymore. Like there's nothing else. So then after that, you just go to the top and just refresh,
Yeah.
and then you start all over.
So so recently, now that you say that, recently I've been hooked on TikTok.
Hmm.
Um, I like TikTok because it's, funny videos and
Yeah.
dances, and also you get some smart stuff, like how to use Excel and how to do this better and how to make a hack for this and stuff like that.
Hmm.
But before, there's this on TikTok, there's this pause that it makes, and it's a video, and it says, "Hey, you've been scrolling for too long. I think you should go get a break or go to the bathroom or go eat something or whatever, something like that, like real funny, right?" So
Hmm.
before I used to ignore it. I was like, "Fuck it, like I don't care. You don't tell me
Yeah.
what to do. I'm just keep scrolling." So, but now though, what I do is, okay, when this comes up, I'm out. Like I'm stopping. Like, okay, I got to find something to do, and I'm out.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, that's what I'm trying to do as a goal now when it comes to TikTok. And but moving forward, I think I'm gonna just listen to that and be like, okay, it's been like 45 minutes now. Okay, I think that's
Yeah, yeah. And like that was like a problem for me too on Twitter that like I
enough.
would scroll and I'm like and I will notice myself in the back of my mind. I'm like, why are you still scrolling? And it was just like this bad
Right,
habit of mine that I'm just like, no, I gotta get to the end. It's like this weird feeling of accomplishment for me that I get all the way to the bottom. I'm like, all right, I've gone through everything on Twitter. I exit the app after that. I'm like, all right, I'm
right,
good
right.
now. So I stopped
And
doing that.
actually, I thought Twitter was like an old social media, old like a thing from the past, because
Hmm.
I still use Twitter, but I don't use it as much. I just
Hmm.
go in to know to find like news and stuff like that. But somebody told me recently, they were like, "No, Twitter is popping." I'm like,
What?
really? I didn't know. Okay, I
Yeah.
guess like, I didn't know it was that good.
Yeah, like and mostly I scroll for the same reason. Like literally, I use Twitter sometimes as like a TikTok in itself because people will post like
Inventing too.
videos. Yeah, like people will post like videos on there. So I'm just like scrolling and I'll wait for like a funny video to come up. People will post a funny
Yeah.
video. I rarely read anymore. So like I'm just scrolling like sometimes someone will post something and I'll be like, oh, that's cool, and I'll retweet it or something. But
Hmm.
mostly I'm just waiting for like the videos. What I use mostly is like the second tab. It's kind of like the discover page, I think. Or
Hmm.
explore. I don't know what it is. But
Yeah.
on there you see like all the top news, whatever is trending, whatever people are talking about. And I just like to see, like, I see sometimes I miss like a whole bunch of important stuff and people were like, you don't know what's going on? I'm just like, no.
Nope.
And then I'll go on Twitter now and I'll see this thing trending. I'm like, oh, okay. So I do
Yeah.
that. That's like my moderated way of seeing what's happening right now. And it's
Right.
like controlling that. Like I'll go on it
Controlling.
quick,
Yeah.
see what's going on, nothing interesting, all right, bye. And then
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, I'm caught up.
Yeah. I was actually thinking about that too. Thinking about like how the climate that we're living in has desensitized me, because I really don't I really don't want to know what's going on unless it's
Hmm.
thrown in my face, like for example, a couple of days ago, the Breonna Taylor sentencing of the cops and stuff like that. Like, I really
Hmm.
didn't want to know because I know it was going to affect me.
Hmm.
So that, like, those running away from those feelings of not being able to do anything, not anything, but just like not having the power to do anything. You know what I'm saying? So
Hmm.
that type of feeling and those type of feelings that I don't want to feel or want to have has desensitized me from information that I have to know or I have to search for. And I was just thinking about that because, like you said, I don't watch the news. I don't, I try to avoid it because of all the things. Like, you turn on the news at 3 o'clock and they're going to tell you the same thing they told you at 12, and the 12 is going to tell you the
Hmm.
same thing they told you at 10,
Yeah.
and the 10 is going to tell you the same thing they told you last night. And so it's like living in a world full of information, and it's not good information. It's always the bad information that's always provided first. So I was thinking about how can I come up with like a plan where I can, like, okay, be able to receive news and not have these so strong feelings
Hmm.
about situations that are going on. And I think I've come to understanding that this is how I am. I'm sensitive, and I'm going to feel certain ways about things. I just have to kind of manage the information in a different type of way. But I don't want to be desensitized and not be able to listen to or look for information or hear information that I
Mhm.
need to know of what's going around in the country, in the world, or whatever.
Yeah, and I know, like, especially what we've been talking with technology, like there's so much on the back end that's going on to like push a specific agenda, like to make you believe a
Exactly.
certain thing, see a certain
Hmm.
thing. So like you
Hmm.
see everybody talking about something, which first of all, no one's taking action on it. You see, there's people, and I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be the person that just, retweets something like, yeah, let's do this. But
Right.
I ain't gonna do nothing. So if I'm
Right.
not gonna do it, I'm not gonna say I'm gonna do it, because then
Right.
you're just joining a hype crowd of everyone's just like, yeah, yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, let's do this. So
Yeah.
that's why mostly I just go like see what the news are, or, like not the news, just what's trending right now. If it's like gaming,
Yeah.
or Netflix did something, or this new thing came up or whatever, I just
Yeah.
go through that, and then I control it and I get out of it, because I know, like,
Yeah.
wow, I don't know how long ago it was, but I know when I used to really consume a lot of the news, and watch a lot of
Hmm.
the news, and it was all just negative stuff. And I would
Yeah.
notice mentally myself, I would like be more anxious, like
Yeah.
be more cautious, be more anxious. And
Hmm.
my life was, I can definitely say for sure, my life was not good. I was not healthy. I was not happy. I was
Hmm.
just worried 100% of the time.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I was like, I don't want to feel like this. I just want
Yeah.
to be happy, healthy, and not consume any of that.
Yeah. And that's the reason why, and that's exactly why I said it. My wanting for those same things that you're saying, just not being anxious, not being well, not being more anxious because I'm an anxious person,
Yeah.
just just naturally, but not being more anxious or being more worried or being more, like in the lookout for things is what has made me be more far from those things or detaching myself from those things, that information. So
Mm-hmm.
but I feel like instead of just detaching myself from that situation, I should just find a way to not let it, kind of a better way to process it is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. I mean, and it's like a famous quote, like your life is, you know, 10% what happens to you and 90% how you
Of how
react to
you,
it.
yep, exactly.
So, I've kept that, the very first time I heard that, like years ago. Ever since then, that's just how I
Hmm.
carry myself.
Yeah.
And I notice it in weird situations too. Like sometimes I'll be with friends, and sometimes people will say certain things to trigger something, like to trigger a reaction out of you.
Hmm.
And sometimes, like, I'll notice how I would normally react, and I'll choose, all right, now I'm not gonna I'm just gonna be
Hmm.
plain, like monotone, and
Right.
not have a reaction. And
Right.
it changes their response and changes how they would say the next thing. Because like sometimes for me, I used to do it before too. Like I would say a certain thing to either upset someone or trigger a certain emotion in them. And I used
Hmm.
to do that before, and I like to trigger that reaction out of them. So, and I realized how important it is for us to like control how we respond and react to certain things. Like there's so much things coming on, like especially now, and all these, like right now I feel like doing just a blackout on everything online, because there's
Hmm.
just so much like ads going on over the same thing, so many ads like coming up and all of these things, and it's distracting, and it's like it's not helping me, it's not doing anything for me. Like
Right.
if I'm not gonna, like I said, if I'm not gonna participate in it, I'm not gonna try to go out and do
Represent it.
something,
Yeah.
like, and have pretty much have like a false word pretty much. I'm just like, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, guys, go do this and this, and then
Yeah.
me, I'm telling myself, like, wait, am I gonna do it? So
Right.
I want to be someone that practices what I preach. So if I know I'm not gonna
Exactly.
do it, I'm gonna stay away from it.
Right. I agree.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a lot of stuff that's been going on. And like with the whole Breonna Taylor things,
Hmm.
it's been coming up on the news. And now obviously everything is just like vote, vote, vote. Everybody's just like pushing it
Right.
everywhere, vote, vote, vote like crazy. And I've just, like I said, I just like stay away from it. And it's just like, because I don't want to be influenced,
Right.
like be leaned like towards a certain side because everyone's saying, or follow the hype or anything. I want to
Hmm.
like be on my own and make my own personal decision and be like, okay, which way are you going to go, or
Right.
what are you going to decide? And it all comes back to like that, like with how powerful your phone is, and knowing like you've really got to be intentional about what you're going to consume, and know,
Yeah.
and like ask yourself, how are you going to make sure that it doesn't control you and you can make the
Right.
decisions for yourself? Because
Hmm.
it's so dangerous, and so many times I've let like my phone control me, and I've been addicted, and I've been like really like I needed it. Like if I didn't have
Hmm.
it, I'd be like I'll go crazy. Like if I
Right.
didn't log on to Instagram or Twitter, or if I didn't have my phone with me, I'll freak out. um and now I don't know if it's just because it's the way iPhone organizes its things, but now I rarely look at my notifications. I
Yeah.
don't know, like I don't know why. Like maybe yesterday I will like scroll down the notification bar like to see what my notifications are, and I'll just like swipe, and I'll be like, oh, this is important, and then I'm done, and then
Right.
I don't have any notifications. There's nothing relevant for me on social media, so then I'm just like, literally, I think it happened like 3 times yesterday or the day before that I was like, what do I do? I was like, I had like nothing to do on my phone. Like
Right.
usually I go on YouTube, watch videos or something, but I was like, there was nothing for me to watch. There's nothing for me to like search anywhere. And it's so weird now because I feel like a lot of people have that now within them too. That is like an urge to want to find something and
Something
to
to
want to
do.
like, search for something, read
Yeah.
something, be consumed by something. So I was like, I had to step away from that, but I love to be
Yeah.
free.
One of the good things also that I'm not sure if that happens in Android. I haven't had an Android in eons. When I tell you, it's like it's been a while. But what I can do with my iPhone is I could um, shut or mute notifications. So
Mm-hmm.
like for instance, like all my social media, everything is muted. So
Mm.
unless I want to go and see it or I, intend to go and see it, I'm not going to see it because of the fact that it's muted. The only thing I have on is my messaging,
Yep.
my instant messaging, because I have, my closest people there, and then my calls. But other than that, everything is muted. And then, if I need to know something or find something, then I would go when it comes to social media. But everything else, like emails and stuff like that is, nothing too important, nothing too urgent for me. So I could just, see the notification and just see that I could, you know,
Mm-hmm.
look at it when I have to, but not
Yeah,
not
exactly.
right there. Yeah.
It's so interesting that you say that because I literally do the exact same thing. Like as soon as I got my phone and I started like setting things up, and it asked me like, "Oh, how do you want these notifications?" And it has the thing that it says "deliver quietly," something like that. I said, "Yes, deliver all of these quietly." And the very first thing I
Silence.
did that, the very first thing I did that with was WhatsApp, because WhatsApp, oh my gosh, just because like for me, from my church, everyone uses WhatsApp, and there's
Right.
so many group chats, like hundreds of messages, like
Yeah.
so many. And like I don't know, sometimes I don't know if I miss anything important or anything. Like I would tell like the leaders and everyone, like if there's something important, you need to message
Please
me
tell me on the side.
directly, because I'm not reading anything. I've
Right.
muted, like I mute all the chats on WhatsApp,
Yeah.
and then I mute the app itself. So
Hmm.
ever since I got this phone, my life has been peaceful because
Yeah.
like
I
the only
mean,
way I can.
I mute all the groups in WhatsApp, but I don't mute um the app itself because
Mhm.
like I said, that's my main way of communicating with my
Mhm.
family members and stuff. But I think I've set the tone for my family.
Yeah.
I hope they never see this, but I think I've set the tone with my family that I'm going to respond whenever I want to respond. Like you're not going to bully me into responding. Like hey, no, I'm going to respond whenever I'm ready.
Yeah.
So that I kind of they send me a message and they know that I'm gonna get to it when I get to it. So it's
Yeah.
it's not it's not that crazy with me and WhatsApp.
Yeah, exactly. And like my mom knows, other people, like if they need to reach me, they text me directly.
Exactly.
And like I said, like it's me choosing, like once I have time, it's like, all right, now I'm gonna go on WhatsApp and open it, see what
Right.
notifications are, and see if I miss
Right.
anything. And it's me choosing that because like I'll get like a ding, 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 ding. Oh my gosh, and it
Hmm.
drives me crazy. Like I forgot I was doing something actually, like I don't know if it was important, but I was doing something on my phone, and I have like a group chat with with guys and stuff, and they were just constantly sending messages. So I'm just like on the like doing something, and so then I have to swipe up, and then another one comes, swipe up, and I had the sound on too, so the sound was coming up, and I was like, this is annoying. And I like,
Yeah.
and you can hide the alerts on like the messages, and I love that. It's pretty much like muting it. So I was like,
Yeah.
yes. So then I muted. I was like, I will see those messages when I need to see them.
Right,
Like I
right.
have other group chats where they're like would message me throughout the day, like when I'm at work, and they'll be like, hey, where are you? Or like, hey, where's Chris? And then my wife is in that chat too
At
sometimes, so
work.
she'll be like, he's probably working, he's busy. So then like I don't respond until like the end of the day because you already know like we'd be like backed up the whole day. So I don't respond until
Right.
like the end of the day, and I'll be like, yeah, guys, I haven't read anything at all. So I haven't read
I
nothing
mean,
at all.
you messages at work, so I understand that.
I bro, like I try to find time, but like I'm just on the go. So then and then when we're
Yeah,
on our break, I try to like have an actual break and just like
yeah,
watch a video, relax. Even if I
yeah,
have a whole bunch of notifications, I sometimes don't read anything unless it's my wife texting me. Other than that, I don't go through anything else. I just watch a video, relax, and then I go back to work, and then I get backed up again, and then I went to the end of
yeah,
the day to respond to everybody. So
yeah,
like, I just do it that way, just because I want to make sure I'm controlling my phone and like the notifications. And I mean,
yeah,
everybody just knows me now. Like they all know me. Like I take forever to respond, and I don't do it purposely. It's just like I'm not really on my phone that much, so
yeah.
it's just like I don't respond like that. But yeah, I mean, now in this fall season, what's your favorite season of the year?
Um, I was born in summer, but summer is not my favorite season. I think my
No.
favorite season is fall. Like, like this time that's coming up
Mm-hmm.
where, you get your breeze, you get your, your cool season. It's not too cold, it's not too hot, it's just perfect in between. Um, so
It's
for me, it's
congeniality.
just, yeah, it's just fall. I like fall. Um, I like it very much. What
Yeah.
about you?
Well, for me, I was born in the spring, so I
Mm,
mean, I don't mind the spring. I like, for me, I think spring is like a very nice time of the year because it's when like the coolness is starting to rise up a little bit, but not too much that it's crazy. So it's
hmm.
like good enough to go to a pool, good enough to have like a nice barbecue, and then it's still like cool throughout the day. I was born in New York,
Yeah,
so the springtime was still like 60s,
yeah.
so it wasn't like crazy hot or anything like that. So
Hmm.
for me, I love mostly spring. And then since we live in Florida, I would say winter, even though there is no winter here.
There is no
So
winter.
that's why I love winter so much because I want the cold. I need cold, but here is so hot. Like I don't know if I've gotten used to it. Like the heat here, like it's just hot the whole year, and we get 2 days of cold. So
Yeah.
that's I do not like that at
Bring
all.
your Timberlands out.
Yeah, right. I literally last December went to New York for the first time in like 10 years.
Hmm.
And I bought Timberlands because it's gonna be freezing over there. I don't
Right.
know if it was gonna be snowing or anything like that. So I bought Timberlands to take over there, and they're just taking up space now because I'm not ever gonna wear that again unless I go somewhere else that's snowing or cold.
Cold. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, but I love the cold because I just love. I mean, just with the like fashion in itself, I just feel like I look better with that kind of
Yeah.
clothes.
All the layers. Yeah.
Yeah, just like feeling like when it's cold, you can just put on layers, and
Right.
get warmer and warmer. But when it's hot, like there's not much you can do.
There's not much you could do. A t-shirt and some shorts, and that's
Yeah,
about it. That's all you're
that's
gonna get.
why that's why sometimes I'll go to work and wear shorts because it gets way too hot sometimes, and I'm just
Yeah.
like, this heat is not for me. Like,
Yeah.
it's like I'm not a person for the heat, or at least if there is heat, like for me, the max that I think is bearable and enjoyable is like in the high 70s, maybe,
Hmm.
or like low 80s, and
Right.
then it's that temperature for like 3 months, and that's it. And then after that, low 70s, everything else lower. If for wherever that weather exists, that's where I want to be.
Yeah. I like the code. I really enjoy the code a lot. There's different types of codes though. There's some
Hmm.
stingy codes and there's some just wind type of code. And I think New York is like that windy type of code.
Hmm.
But I've been to places where the code is literally inside of your bones, and
Oh my
that's
gosh.
that's not that's not cool. But yeah, I like from the code that the fashion you could literally enjoy a lot of stuff. I don't really like hot stuff when it comes to like
Hmm.
drinking tea or coffee or anything like that. But um, you know, part of me being in the cold, kind of like that hot beverage or whatever. So that's
Hmm.
also cool for me to like try new things that I wouldn't try,
Hmm.
um, in my normal, city or whatever.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, that's why I enjoy the cold a little bit
Yeah.
sometimes.
And like
I
here is like I think we've gotten used to like the heat here. So we might like for me, for example, I'd be like, oh my gosh, like I miss the cold. There's so much you can do in the cold. You know, you can have a
hmm
bonfire, you know, you can roast some marshmallows, you know, all these
right,
different things. You can dress nice. But there's a lot of stuff to do in the house. You know, you can go to the beach, you can go to the river and stuff.
right,
And I love going to the river. Like for me,
yeah,
I love going to the river. I prefer the river over the beach or anything else all day.
same,
I
same.
love the
I
river. I don't care
prefer,
how freezing it is.
yeah, I prefer the rivers and the springs and those things from the pool and the beach any day, any
Yeah,
day.
no, I'm not a
That
beach
fresh
person.
water hits different.
Heck yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, but like and I've gotten used to it like the heat here and I feel like it would be the same thing because you see people who live in people in places that are freezing cold and then they're the
Right,
opposite that they're just like I can't stand this. I need the heat. So I feel
right,
like it's good that we, you know, just the good thing for you to do is just wherever you're at, just enjoy it and embrace it.
yeah,
Like for me, like I would like to live somewhere where it's, you know, more normal weather throughout the year, where
hmm
it's not like super hot but not super cold either. And it's
right,
just like, you know, 60s, 70s most of the year
hmm
because, you know, it could be chilly. You could wear a sweater and you can just dress down also and just wear shorts or whatever. So, I would like to live there, like in places like that. And I try to embrace here, even though it's too hot, so hot. I try to embrace, and it's like the good thing that I enjoy about it is I can wear the same clothes all year round. Like
Yeah,
I can go to work in shorts forever. Like
yeah,
I can go to shorts, I can wear the same thing, and I'll be good. I don't have to like worry about like towards the fall time having to buy new clothes, buy
yeah,
like longer wear and all that stuff,
and
and wear
change
the
your
same
whole
thing.
wardrobe.
Yeah, exactly. And I have to
Yep,
like do that whole cleaning and then buy everything on you again. Like here in Florida,
exactly.
you just wear the same thing
The same
for
thing. You have one jacket for when that one day that it gets
that one
cold,
day. Yeah.
or it rains because when it rains, apparently we need jackets.
Yeah, exactly.
So so you have one jacket or one sweater for that day that it rains or that well, shit, in Florida it rains every day, but
Yeah,
like
yeah.
like that night rain, like that after
Mm-hmm.
that evening rain that it gets chilly at night. That's
Yeah.
when you use your jacket.
And it's so funny too because in Florida you'll be like, oh, it's summer, the best time, you know, to go out do things. Summer is when it's raining,
The
humid,
most.
and hot. It's the worst time to come to Florida. Do not come to Florida in the summer.
Do not. Like you're gonna
That's like,
have a daily rain from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m.
yep,
and then like
always.
nothing happened. But the what's it called? The humidity.
Oh my gosh,
Oh boy.
unbearable. No, I don't know. Like,
If you want your pores to be open, come to Florida.
exactly. I haven't experienced different kinds of heat because I know there's like the humid heat and then the dry kind of heat, like places like
Yeah.
Colorado and stuff like that. So I don't know, like the difference.
When I went to Vegas, that heat is crazy. Okay,
Yeah.
is nothing like the heat here in Florida. In Florida, the heat is humid. You know, you're sweating. You know sometimes you can't even breathe because it's so humid. But
Mm-hmm.
in the the west side of town, west side of the state,
Mm-hmm.
the states. Let me
Mm.
tell you, it you feel like you're breathing fire. Literally,
Oh my gosh.
it is so hot and dry, and it's
Oh,
not fun either.
oh
Not fun.
man. Yeah, I mean, all I've experienced is this humid heat, so I don't know
Yeah.
like how the dry heat would be.
Mm.
I just know like I get so like desesperado, like I get desperate here because I'm
Right.
like I'm just like it gets so I'm just like I need to take this
Yeah.
off, and it's like you know you like
Yeah.
need to get to AC or coldness. So
Yeah.
like it'll be hot, and in the back of my mind, all I'm thinking about is like I want to go to the springs right now. Like I just want to take a nice bath in the
So
springs.
fun question. What do you keep your temperature at home?
At home, the lowest I've
Hmm
ever set it is 70. And then, but
Really?
normally, yeah, normally at night I have it at 73.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
What do you say yours?
I have it here. I usually have it at 70.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then the lowest I set it up at night is like 68.
Okay.
And that makes me wake up at night and turn it off and put it on 70 again. But
Mm-hmm.
70 is usually what I have it on.
Okay. Yeah, usually like the way I'll in the morning when I'm leaving for work, I'll set the AC to like 76, 77 because no one's
Hmm
here. So I just keep it, you know, a little bit cool. I mean, with the fans on, it still
Yeah.
stays cool here.
Cool. Right.
So, and then once I get home towards the evening time, I'll set it to like 75, 74. And then at night, I'll set it to 73. And that's usually a decent amount. I still sometimes wake up and have hot flashes. I don't know if there's
Hmm.
no way to control that because I put it like at 70 before and I'm still hot. So, but yeah, I usually keep it really low. There was one time that we stayed with our friends in a hotel, and on the hotel, it don't matter what you put it at. So
Right.
I kept putting it down until it didn't let me go lower anymore. And I remember I put it down and it was like 45 degrees.
I can't
I
do
was
that.
like,
No.
I did that, and I don't know if the AC like either froze or broke off, but it was cold in there. But I fell asleep with like a tank top on and some shorts, and my friends were looking at me like I was crazy. I was like, this feels good. I was like, I can't do this at home because it's hot as heck over there. So so here I'm gonna enjoy. Every time I go to a hotel, I enjoy the nice weather. I'm putting this all the
Yeah.
way down. I don't care.
So, speaking about seasons and stuff, have you heard about seasonal depression, seasonal anxiety, seasonal like mental health situations, or?
I haven't heard of that. I know, like, at least with my podcast, that's kind of how I have framed each of the seasons.
Hmm.
Like the way the seasons are, it reflects a certain thing. Like
Got it.
it reflects a certain thing. So, like, for example, in the summer, like this last summer, like this summer that just passed, in
Hmm.
this season, everyone's it's hot, everyone things are starting to heat up, get real hot. People are going out, enjoying things,
Hmm.
free time. That's what it's about a lot. So I saw it as like the season for you to, like, since we're all having this free time, it's a
Hmm.
season for you to invest and start to grow yourself.
Got it.
um whether it's financially, mentally, like growing your passion and maximizing this free time that you have to like start to heat things up, like start to
Yeah.
get on a roll where you're just like enjoying the things and growing in those things. So
Right.
like now that we're starting our fall season, for me, I see the fall season as kind of like summer is ending, all the free time and everything, and things are starting to cool down and prepare for like the colder time. It's preparing
Hmm.
for like the winter. And you'll
Yeah.
see like how in nature, how things how the leaves start to change color, how things start to cool down and look real beautiful. So in our life, I see that as kind of like, with our passions and stuff, it's kind of like a season to, like, my goal for this season is like a key word would be consistency.
Hmm.
Is like, the summer is a lot of grinding and, like forcing yourself to get into and start working. And like now in this season is like our goal is to be consistent. So now that we've
Got it.
got the ball rolling, it start to like kind of cool down. You can relax a little bit and kind of start to prepare your plan to like be consistent and like
Okay.
starting to move forward and kind of like starting to reflect back, like kind of in the back of your mind, preparing like to reflect back on this whole year, what has worked, what hasn't worked, and pretty much preparing for the winter season. Is all like it's like preparation and consistency this
Yeah.
season. And then the winter season for me is like the season to close the whole year out, a whole evaluation overview of your year and an outlook for the next year coming up, and prepare yourself for what you want to, work on in the year coming up.
Got it.
So that's kind of like how I frame the seasons. I know like
Hmm.
in winter, since a lot of people are home and stuff, and it's cold, it's a very like dark season.
Hmm.
That's how what you were mentioning, that's a lot of a peak in like depression where a lot of different things like that happen.
Hmm.
But I haven't really heard too much about like like what you were talking about, like anxiety or depression or anything like that.
So yeah, no, I was just asking just to see kind of where it was, but so there is a lot of actually right now I was looking at some information about awareness of seasonal depression and seasonal anxiety, especially in the year that we've been
Hmm.
living in, and that's just a high right now when it comes to our society, or everybody from kids all the way to growns and our elderly folks, and because of all the changes. So if you look at the kids now, they're going back to school, they're going back to wearing masks if they're going to in person school, or if they're online or virtual is a whole different situation for them. When it comes to us adults, some of us are don't have jobs, and if we have jobs, we're like, oh my God, how long is it? Am I going to keep my job for?
Mm-hmm.
And elderly, they're really worried about getting sick and all these things. So I was reading an article about um, how this year has really impacted our lives in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
So much loss, so much, and not only lives, but so much money has been lost as well.
Mm-hmm.
So much resources have been distributed and wrongfully distributed also. Um, so I just wanted to like touch on that subject a little bit on um, how we can um, kind of raise that awareness in our community and
Mm-hmm.
the people that watch your podcast,
Mm-hmm.
and how to prepare, like you said, and be consistent
Mm-hmm.
in this season, um, to prepare for the better things, and if not, just prepare for making sure that you're keeping consistent in whatever you have now moving
Mm-hmm.
forward, because it's only going to continue. Like we feel like on December 31st 2020
Mm-hmm.
this is all going to end. Everybody is like, next year will be a better year.
Yeah.
But what if it isn't?
Yep.
um so we have to just kind of just raise that awareness
Mm-hmm.
and make sure that we're doing activities, or we're doing things that are keeping us grounded to what really matters to us, to not fall into those depressions and those things that could just literally take us all the way left.
Mm-hmm.
So I just wanted to give that piece of advice and just throw it out there.
Yeah, and it's true too, and you can see it both ways, like in preparation, like you're preparing, for the next year, and it's also kind of preparing for what's to come because,
Hmm.
like I said, in winter, as you're preparing for winter, people start to buy clothes, start to wear things to cover themselves, for protection to stay warm, and in the same way, like we've got to start preparing ourselves, like find that protection because it's going to be a very dark season because also in the winter it's also when like a lot of people get sick a lot during the winter
Hmm.
as well, so
Yeah.
it can be a very like dark time as well, so it's kind of like taking the advantage right now. Like it's not like everything is good now, but kind of
Hmm.
like now that you're able to have this right now to take advantage and start to form a consistency plan where you're just look at what everything is right now, everything that has happened, and just embrace it.
Yeah.
And then just start to say, okay, how can I move forward from this? Like,
Yeah.
I like in the very beginning, like, from my church, my pastor, he mentioned it like as soon as the COVID started, he like obviously closed the church down. And he said, like, in the very beginning, when he closed it down, his mindset was the church is closed for the rest of the year. So
Mm.
because he was thinking long term, he's thinking, all right, or we're all gonna frame our mindset around the church is closed. That's it until the end of the year. So what are we gonna do? And
Right.
then that's when we started to work on online meetings, so on and so forth, really utilizing those tools. And I feel like we've got to have the same mindset of like because when we consume ourselves so much and we think so much of like, oh, when is this going to end, when is everything's going to be good again, then you're just waiting for the
Yeah.
next great thing to happen and then you're suffering now.
Yeah.
So I don't want anyone to suffer now. Like
Yeah.
embrace what's happening right now,
Yeah.
take it in, and just ask yourself, okay, what can I do now? Like what can
Yeah.
I work on now in this season to start to improve myself, start to cool down and prepare for the worst, and also prepare for what might come, for
The best. Yeah.
better things, and just start to work towards those things.
Yeah. And also, when it comes to like winter stuff, you mentioned it's dark. Yeah, that's true. But also, it's also sometimes a very kind of like a highlight, um, because you have, like you mentioned earlier, the opportunity to go back into your year and just see what you were able to accomplish, and what you weren't able to accomplish, and then
Yeah.
just also make adjustments for making those accomplishments next year. And also the holidays. So the holidays are very important as well.
Mm-hmm.
Just looking forward to spending time with family and all this. So, but this year, that might not be a possibility. People don't want to
Mm-hmm.
travel as much. People don't want to be in such big
Groups
reunions
and stuff.
or groups and stuff like that. So just kind of like this, kicking off your podcast with this season is just kind of reminding everybody that, it's a different time,
Mm-hmm.
and we just have to adjust and just kind of be ready for the changes that are going to happen,
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to our lives in the future in this season as
Mm-hmm.
well.
I think I don't know if it was our governor, like when the hurricanes were happening a few years ago. I remember he said like expect the best but prepare for the worst. So
Yeah.
I like to kind of like follow that same mindset of like, expect, the best. Obviously you have an end goal,
Yeah.
certain things you might want to accomplish or things to happen. Prepare for the worst though, because
Yeah.
I think like before this year started, I was one of those people. I was like, ooh, 2020, new decade. It's gonna be the roaring 20s. It's gonna be, a blast, amazing. And so many people, and I don't know if it's like that every year, but I felt like last year was different. I feel like everyone was, talking about this year was gonna be great,
Hmm.
so on and so forth, and just downhill. So many things have
Right.
happened this year, with
Well, technically, the new decade starts next year because
okay,
this
true.
20 is part of the previous decade.
Oh
Well,
yeah.
the decade that is the decades of the tens, but it
Mm-hmm.
includes the
10
20.
to 20, yeah.
So right. So now 21 to 30 is going to be the next decade. And um, a couple of years ago, I actually stopped comparing my year or looking at my year as a lot of people were like, a lot of people usually would be like, oh my God, this year, X, Y, and Z. And I
Mm-hmm.
can't wait for this year to be over because X, Y, and Z. And this and that and third. But a couple of years ago, and when I tell you, I would say maybe like 3 or 4 years ago, I stopped doing that because that's just pessimist,
Mm-hmm.
That's just not optimistic.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's just not the way to live. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Like, people were like, I can't wait for this year to finish because next year is going to be better.
Oh man.
Are you changing? Like,
Next is
are
gonna
you
be
making
so
any
much
change?
better because I don't know
Right.
what's gonna happen.
So at 12 o'clock, December 31st, 11:59 is the
I'm a new
last
person.
minute that was a shitty minute, and then all of a sudden, January 1st, 2020, you were different. No, like, if you're not making the effort to make a change within yourself, there's nothing going to change in the next
Mm-hmm.
year.
Mm-hmm.
And when I started this year, I was so excited. This year has been one of my best years and one of my worst years.
Yeah,
And I'm going to tell you
agree.
what. When I started this year, my mom turned 50 the beginning of the year, so we had a huge party, like 60 people. We went to a cruise, like all our family, friends. It was a huge party. And then when I came back from that party, I went to Philippines for 2 weeks, and it was amazing. And I can't remember what else happened before COVID. Something really good happened before COVID. I can't remember right now, but
Mhm.
it was very promising. I was so excited with the beginning of the year, and then COVID happened, and it wasn't such a shock to me because I'm not the type of person that um, gets shocked very easily. Um, but it was a change in my norm. And then I kept my job and I made a lot of changes. And I don't know if you ever heard, but this one saying that one decision can push you 10 years forward or 10 years back.
Mhm.
But that's a saying. I don't know. My mom says a lot, but she says one decision could push you 10 years forward or 10 years back.
Mhm.
So I made a decision this year, and it literally pushed me 10 years forward. A lot of things changed in a good way for me. Um, keeping my job and being able to do overtime because of COVID and being,
Mhm.
paid. You know, we were paid double, and then we were
Yeah.
paid an extra $2, and it was a lot of money coming in, and I was able to get a lot of things resolved. And then I felt so good about the year. Of course, in light, still kind of bummed because of the world being in this situation, and so many lives being taken away and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And then I lose my best friend, or one of my best friends, and it hit me like
Mhm.
this year has to teach you something, right?
Yeah.
And then she was 33 years old, and she just like this. It wasn't COVID. It was a brain tumor,
Mm-hmm.
and it literally taught me something that I thought I knew,
Mm-hmm.
but I never got faced with it. It never slapped me like it did in that moment. And it was live your life the best that you can. To just don't have any regrets. Do it. You're gonna and even in business. I was
Mm-hmm.
in an interview recently. Oh, that the day that you walked in on me in the
Oh
in
yeah.
the back room. I
Yeah.
was on an interview, and and I and the interviewer was telling me, he was like, you can make mistakes, and it's business. Like nothing is gonna happen, and life is the same. We look at it, so we think of life so highly,
Mm-hmm.
that we sometimes miss the mark, and sometimes we don't take advantage and live life and make mistakes, because making mistakes is part of it. Like I'd rather make a mistake than not make the mistake and then just think about what I could have done. So
Mm-hmm.
like being slapped with my best friend, one of my best friends' death was like, of course it took me out for a couple of weeks. It really took me out. But then
Mm-hmm.
I was like, man, like I could die tomorrow. And I have all these things that I want to do. I have all these accomplishments that I want to achieve. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm so worried about what house I want to buy in 2 years. I'm so worried
Right.
about if I have the right car. Like, why am I going to spend so much money on this car? And then, and
Mm-hmm.
and it, and also she taught me a great. And I'm just ranting at this point, but
Yeah, no, you can.
she taught me a great lesson. She had the car of her dreams.
Mm-hmm.
She lived wherever she wanted to live. She did whatever she did, and it wasn't until the day of her funeral. She always wanted to have a family and have kids, and it wasn't until the day of her funeral that her best friend said, like one of our groups, she
Mm-hmm.
said, um, you wanted to be a mother so bad, but you never realized that you were a mother to all your friends.
Mm-hmm.
And when I tell you that slapped me, like I wasn't crying because she was like, we were in the ceremony. I was
Yeah.
crying because it was such an epiphany. Like
Mm-hmm.
it just hit me. Like sometimes you want something so bad and you don't
Yeah.
realize that you already have it. You just haven't
Yeah.
seen it. And then you waste so much time, resource, and money into trying to get this thing. It's just stupid. So I say all this to say, like, when you are in preparation or when you're trying to be consistent in the season, think
Mm-hmm.
about those things, those small things that really make you happy,
Yeah.
and think about those things that you really don't need, that you're so infatuated with achieving.
Mm-hmm.
Think about those things that made your year good, that
Yeah.
made, on top of, I don't know if you've had COVID, or if you lost somebody to COVID, or if you just lost somebody in general, or you lost your job, or there's something to be taught there, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I just want everybody to kind of look at that, and look back and see what you really should be grateful for, because
Mm-hmm.
you might have lost your job, but guess what? You still have a roof over your head. You still have food, and even if you're not living in your own apartment or your own place, you still have a friend that gave you that hand to live in their place. So be grateful for that friend. Like, and that's why I mentioned like seasonal depression and stuff like that, because it's
Mm-hmm.
it's out there. You could
Yeah.
you could see somebody and just be like, oh, they're good. Yeah, they're
Mm-hmm.
good, and this and then the third. But it's happening. And also the kind of job that me and you do,
Mm-hmm.
getting other people jobs, and it's so impactful that sometimes we take that for granted as well.
Yeah.
And so that's also something that me and you could be thankful for, because
Mm-hmm.
we impact so much lives, although we don't think we do.
Mm-hmm.
We really do. So it's, I don't know, I don't know if time is up or whatever, but
No, you're
I
good.
just wanted to kind of that leave on that note that I don't know if it's gonna get better. I really don't, and I
Mm-hmm.
hope so, but I really don't know if it's gonna get better. I just want people to see that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. We might not be able to see it, but if you keep walking, if you keep pushing,
Mm-hmm.
and something very important as well, the only way through isn't just through the wall. You could go around the wall, you could
Yeah.
go under or up the wall. So
Mm-hmm.
kind of like looking at the options that you have. moving to another country or another city. Like who knows?
Yeah.
Like so many options that we have, and we're just so focused on certain things that we don't
Yeah.
open our eyes up and look at things. So
That's true. And it's like for me, I remember before starting my podcast, and I think I talked with you about this before, is like I kept waiting for my friends and I was like, "Oh no, we need this and this." I was like, "Well, before we start, we should, try to get this and this."
hmm
And we were beating around the bush for so long that eventually I got to a point myself that I was just like, I just want to get started.
yeah,
So I went on my own and I started on my own. I didn't have much. I had like already a microphone and I just started recording. And up until this moment right now, and I take a certain amount of time every quarter to kind of sit down and evaluate myself. And something that I noticed this year is that like that's what's so important for us to realize is like what you said, don't look so much forward on what's next, or that you need to get to that to get to accomplish something. Ask yourself, what do you have right now? Like what do you have within you? And we might think it's like, oh, I don't have anything. Like, no, you have something. Like, for an example, let's just say a podcast is like, oh, I don't have a microphone or anything like that. Literally, with the app Anchor, the app that I use, you can literally record from your phone. Like, you can just have your phone straight
right.
up like this. It's not going to sound good. It's not going to be the greatest quality, but the important part is that you realize that you're just starting, and
Yeah,
that you just got to get started. And like you said, you
yeah,
make those mistakes, and the important part is that you evaluate yourself. I think that's the best thing ever, is that we need to realize that when we evaluate the experience we have gone through and how we can improve, that's how we grow. We think that we have to, like, and myself, I'm speaking for myself, I thought that I had to be so
hmm
perfect. Like, when I started,
yeah,
I thought that I had to have everything like so good. Obviously, I'm thinking I'm trying to aim for the best, and I
yeah,
realized I'm just like, I'm gonna get whatever I have right now and get started. And as I go, I'm gonna work
hmm
on building this and
yeah,
getting better and better. And when I first started, I had no video. It was just fully audio. Then I started working on, I have a camera. Let me use a camera. Then I bought different things here and there, started to build my platform. I had friends helping me with editing and stuff. And now I'm fully on my own. I can edit on my own. I can record on my own. I have the video. I have everything. I have resources. And there's still things that I want to get. And in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, wait, like, you don't need those things right now.
yeah,
Like, you can work towards those things later. Build what you have right now
yeah,
and enjoy. And for all of us in our lives, like, something that I want everyone to realize as well is that a diamond is created only under extreme
pressure.
pressure.
Yeah,
So think about that. Like, the greatest things comes from sometimes the worst moments that we experience. I can say
yeah,
that for myself. Like, from the
yeah,
worst experience of my life, that's
mm,
where I have learned. That's where I have risen up. That's where I
mm,
have grown. So we have to realize, in this whole year where so much has happened,
yeah,
so
so
much. Like,
much.
you want to know something really crazy? My anniversary with my wife is the same day that Kobe Bryant died.
Wow.
So, it was our anniversary, and we were driving, and she was telling me, and she was just like, Kobe Bryant passed away. And I was like, what?
hmm
And the day before, there was a game, and I was watching it, and LeBron James had just finished like this milestone where he passed Kobe Bryant in a certain thing. And the next day, Kobe Bryant passes away. And she tells me like she read it on TMZ, and I don't trust anything on TMZ. So she told me TMZ. I was like, I was like, that's fake.
That's a hoax.
I was
Yeah.
like, nah, that ain't real. But she kept reading, and she was like, it's real. And I'm driving, and I was just like, it hit me so hard too. And I was just like,
Yeah.
this is crazy. And then that just started like this crazy. That was like the start of this crazy year, and
Yeah.
so much has happened. And I don't want to downplay everything that has happened this year with all the death and COVID and everything that's happening. I want to say personally, for me, same as you, this has been a roller coaster of a year. A lot of downs has happened, and a lot of amazing things has happened personally for my life. Today, like, last Friday, I celebrated being debt free finally, a goal that I had
Yeah.
that I thought I wasn't going to be able to accomplish until next year because so many things started coming up. But then
Yeah.
little things started working out better, and now I'm debt free. This was a goal that I had, that, like, to start a podcast or a leadership podcast. I had this goal to start like at the end of the year. I remember at the beginning of the year, I was like, all right, by the end of the year, start a
hmm
podcast. And I started 2 months later. And I've been on that, and I've just honestly been enjoying and growing. And I have fallen, made mistakes, and I just, like, every episode I'll listen to it and I'll see what worked, what didn't work,
Yeah.
maybe the audio, the quality, whatever. and I'll evaluate that and I'll just grow. So I think what's important for all of us to realize is like what you said, like just
But
go,
let me
like,
tell you
just
about
go
this
out there.
debt-free life, though.
Okay.
Whew. Listen, I was and a lot of my life situations are based on, I don't know if you remember, but I remember a lot of the shit that happened with me and my mom. It was just me and
Mm-hmm.
my mom. And I remember a lot. When I tell you a lot, I remember a lot of things. And I remember one of the things I remember is never having money, ever.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's not because she didn't have a good job or anything like that. And I'm sorry to put my mom out there like
Yeah.
that, but this is one of my, my learnings in life. And it was just because she wasn't smart with dealing with money.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and you grow up watching, and a lot of parents say, don't do as I do as I say," and um, that's not the way to go. That your children is gonna do exactly what you do.
Yeah.
Like they don't care what you're talking about. They're
Yeah.
gonna do exactly what you do. So I grew up that same way, like being so responsible with money, just going left on a lot of things, and my credit was horrible, and I had a lot of debt, and but this year I was able to be debt free by I think July or June,
Oh
and when I
wow.
tell you, it's like it is amazing. It is amazing. It's
Mm-hmm. Yes, yes,
it's
yes.
the best thing.
Congratulations.
Shit. I mean, congratulations to you because you're gonna start, enjoying that, and it's liberating. I tell you,
Yeah.
like it's liberating to be like, I don't have to pay what? Yeah,
Yep.
like I don't owe this, I don't owe that, and I don't like. Of course,
Mm-hmm.
granted, you're gonna have your little recurring bills here and there, and your
Yeah.
rent and your cell phone bill, whatever the
Yeah.
case may be. But not having any additional debt that is unnecessary, it's amazing. And going back
Yeah.
to what you were saying, I wanted to point out what you were saying about starting at least somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't start somewhere, where are you going to start? Like
Yeah.
if you hadn't had started with your cell phone recording,
Mm-hmm.
you still would have been waiting to get everything you wanted, and you would have gotten to the end of the year, and you still would have started because
Mm-hmm.
you want to get the best mic, you want to get the best computer, the best laptop, you want to get the best camera, you want to get the best headphones,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes that's not what's going to attract your fan base or your listeners. What's going to attract is the quality of the content that you have, the
Yep.
message that you're relaying, the kind of information that you're providing to them, and how you're making them feel. One of the podcasters or the creators that I listen to most is his name is Jay Shetty. I don't know if you heard of him,
Mm-hmm.
but the message that the way that he lives his life and the way that he portrays his message is so impactful that it doesn't matter if I could if his sound was janky,
Yeah.
if I hear crackles in the video that I'm listening to. I don't care. The information that he's providing to me is what's making me come back to him. So, and
Mm-hmm.
also just if you don't start somewhere, where are you going to start? Like even a small change or some starting small can mean so much for the future.
Mm-hmm.
So that's also an encouragement for the people out there that have you know plans that they want to do and things that they want to start.
Yep.
Just start just do
Yeah,
it,
man.
just do it.
Just start. Like that's one of my episodes that I had like previously is learn to think big but start small. You know,
Yeah,
like just like really get started, and if like what you were saying, like in my head in the beginning of the year, I was thinking, all right, I gotta get the mic, I gotta get this and that. And if I would have waited to do all of that, I would have started probably the end of the year. But then I would have
or
started
next
and
year.
still not know anything. I'll have all the
Yeah,
resources, but I won't know, okay, like what am I gonna talk about? What is this? And I still would have learned. So it would have been the exact same thing with better resources which nobody would really care
no
about,
knowledge exactly.
and nobody's gonna look at, damn, what kind of mic he's using, unless it's like a professional sound engineer or like
Yeah,
someone like that. They're just listening to what you're talking about.
yeah.
So that's what I realized. I was like, let me step back, forget about the resources. Why do I want to do this? That's the most important question I ever asked myself, is why I wanted to do this. What was the purpose behind it? And that's what, took me to just get started. And it was my genuine self being, real and recording and having a message to put out there. And it was just myself. And it wasn't, I wasn't focused on the equipment, anything like that. I'm focused on the message. And like for everybody that listens, they know that already, that like I don't care. Like obviously, I know what's a good mic. I have a pretty decent mic now that I bought, not too long ago. I have a decent camera. I have a few episodes that I recorded with my iPhone that I just got 2 weeks ago, and I don't care because eventually, like I said, eventually I'm going to improve later on,
Yeah,
when the time presents itself. But it's not something that's a necessity for me right now. What's
okay,
necessary for me is what's the purpose behind this podcast, which is not to have the best camera, which is not to have the best microphone. The purpose behind this is to help people grow, is to help myself grow and to help other people be at their best as well and make a difference in their lives and the lives of others. So that I don't need a mic for that. I don't need a camera for that. All I need is myself and my
exactly.
growth. And we grow together as we listen and as we speak and have conversation. That's
Hmm.
how that works. And I realized that's one of the most powerful lessons I learned this year is you really, and I don't know how like, because I've said it through different episodes, I don't know how repetitive it sounds, but like you need to just get started. Like just start. It doesn't matter it doesn't matter if you don't have everything that you have. Like just start and work with it. And there's always something that you can start with, whatever your passion is, whatever you like to do. Like just start and move with it. Like when I tell you last Friday when I realized, because the reason why I was able to get a head start on like my debt is because I got like the stocks
Yeah.
money. So it came in, and I remember my wife was like, "Why do we have this much in our account?" And I was freaking out. I was at work, and I have no idea. And I told Yessie, and I was like, "Do you know? Like, have you gotten a deposit like this before?" And then we looked into it, and it was the stocks, and obviously it was mine to keep. So I was like, this is crazy because
Yeah,
I had a plan to pay off like my debt, and I always just go with the flow. I have a plan,
yeah,
but I know things will come up and obstacles will rise, so I just learn to adjust as time goes
right.
on. So
Hmm.
my plan was to finish next month, like the end of October, finish paying it off.
Hmm.
So then that came out of nowhere, and I was like, I can pay everything off now. And I remember my wife and I, we were sitting down in our little hallway, and I calculated everything, and I was like, we can do this right now. So I went on our account because we had a loan taken out. So I went on the loan, and I put in the payment, and I submitted it, and I'll never forget that moment. It's such a great feeling. I was like, final payment right there.
Yeah,
And when I went back to like the dashboard, it was cleared off and it wasn't there anymore. Like no more payments, nothing like that. That was wow. There's no words to describe like
yeah,
that feeling. It was so amazing. It was like this is awesome.
yeah.
And it's also like the craziest part of it is because my wife and I last December had that goal, and we're now in September accomplishing that. So, and throughout the year, things came up. We got some even in more debt. Because my wife needed to get a car because her car broke down. We did different things, and we just adjusted along the way, and now we're able to today celebrate that. So that's just the important thing is that you get started and in this season that like just start to move forward, and the most important part is like I said, ask yourself why you want to do something. Ask
Hmm.
like what's your purpose behind it, and then once you ask why, then ask yourself how you're going to do that and what do
And
you
then be
have to
consistent
do
in
that.
doing it.
Exactly. And then just once you've answered those three questions, start rolling. And in this season, like
Hmm.
what you were mentioning earlier, just really look at back at this year and see the the moments that might have not gone so well, but as well take some time to track all the good things that did happen. Like every quarter, like what I mentioned, I have a planner, and I literally every quarter I write down, I like physically write down the things that did go well, that did work out in the last 3 months. And then I also take a section to write some things that I want to improve on that maybe didn't go so well. And then I'll write out a plan and some goals that I have for the next quarter on what I want to accomplish based on what I was able to accomplish now, and then I start to work on that. So it's all about us evaluating that and being grateful for like wow this year like these things were able to happen, and
Yeah,
some of these things didn't go through, but it wasn't meant to be. So now what can I do to adjust and move forward? So that's
yep,
what's important in this season for us to work on to prepare towards the end of the year. And like I said, expect the best and prepare for the worst,
always.
and move forward. And and really, like, honestly, just know that life is not perfect. And there's no such thing as a world without problems or without struggles. Whether you believe in God, whether you go to church, whether you're in the world, no matter what, no matter where you are, you're going to struggle. You're going to have problems no
Yeah.
matter what. So the important thing for you to realize is to expect those problems to come up
Yeah.
and tell yourself, what are you going to do to move
Yeah.
forward?
To move
That's
forward.
just
Yep.
the most important thing.
Yeah. And also sometimes we get so caught up in wanting certain things and trying to reach certain goals and things. And also a good message to put out there is that um, what is for you is for you. There's no way that you're going to miss what's for you. And if it does miss, then it wasn't intended for you. So
Yep.
sometimes we get so mad and so like sad or depressed or anxious or angry or whatever the case, whatever your defense mechanism is, we go and retreat to those because we think that we can get something, or our we weren't good enough for a certain thing, we didn't do a
Hmm.
good enough job for a certain thing. But sometimes that's not what the universe, or that's not what God wants for us. And we just have to learn to read those situations, because if it
Yep.
was for you, no matter what was put between you and that was not going to miss you. So
Yep.
that's also something I want to
Yeah, it's true. Exactly. Like if it didn't work, then it's and like I had that same mindset with my podcast. Like when I started, I did my own personal prayer and I said, like I said, God, if this is really like what you want to go through, then I know you will take it wherever it needs to go. If it
right
doesn't work, if it fails, then I know it was not what you want me to do. And
to
it's
do
not, and
exactly.
it'll be like it would have been just something of my personal thing. So I told him, I prayed and I said, God, I don't want this to be something just for me. I want
Yeah.
this to be something that you actually see will go somewhere. And if it is, go through with it. If
Right.
it fails, and I will know from then this is not what I'm meant to do. And I continue to do that throughout the year and just trust and work it out and adjust along the way. And so many different signs, so many different things have come up as a sign to tell me, to like show me like, no, this is what is supposed to happen.
Yeah.
And things have every time I like trust, or like sometimes I'll doubt, things will come up to be like, no, this is going to happen.
Right.
And that's why I've been so consistent, because it's like, no, like this is.
And those feelings are natural and valid, honestly.
Mhm.
Like that's something that's going to happen. Like we're
Yeah.
human, and sometimes we forget that we're human, and we start to get more anxious and get more
Yeah.
worried and just get more like, why isn't this working? Like, why isn't this that, or the third, or I can't
Hmm.
do this, I can't do that, or I haven't been able to master, or whatever the case is. Like, we are human. Like,
Hmm.
we don't have superpowers as much sci-fi as you want to watch and like we don't
Yeah.
have all those things. Like, it's life, and it's how it is. Like,
Hmm.
I like my new motto this year is like, relax, like chill,
Yeah.
relax, sit back, enjoy the flight. Like, you can't be over processing and overdoing something that it's if it's for you,
Yep.
nobody is going to take it away from you.
Yep. If I could use a phrase to describe this whole year, it's just trust and grow. Like for me, it's
Yeah.
just trust in the process and grow along the way. And that's literally what I've done this whole year. And everything has fallen into, certain things have come up that I wasn't expecting. And then things have come
Yeah.
up that was like, this is amazing. And
Right.
it has worked for me. So it's like a sign saying like, yes, this is what should happen. Keep going with it.
Yeah.
So just trust and grow for the whatever's remaining for this year. Be grateful for what has happened, and for everything that has not gone through, whatever has not worked out.
Be grateful
Just
for that too,
trust. Yeah,
because you never
exactly.
know what could have been behind that, what
Mm-hmm.
you're being protected from, in a
Mm-hmm.
sense.
You can learn from the good moments and from the bad. It's all
Yeah.
about you, your perspective, and being like, like this obstacle may have come up. What can I learn from this
Listen, i'm
problem?
gonna tell you i'm gonna tell you this quick last story.
Yep.
So um and it's work related too.
Mm-hmm.
In March, maybe in March, I started getting tired of the job that I was doing, and I was just like, I need to do something else. Like, I need to do something, the case may be. So I apply for a promotion, and I go through my promotion. I prepare the best that I can. When I tell you I prepare like I never prepared, the jump from a level 4 to level 5 is big.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to money, when it comes to responsibility, everything is so much bigger. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm super excited. I'm preparing. I'm studying. I'm reaching out to my mentors. I'm, hey, how can I make this better? I'm prepared. I go through my interview process. My first call was a phone screen with the hiring manager. She loves me. My second interview is with somebody else, and they love me. And my third interview with somebody else, they love me. My fourth interview with somebody else, they love me. Boom, I get the job, right? I get the incline. I don't get the job. I get the incline. And my direct manager at the time says, "You're not going to get promoted under me no matter what happens." I am devastated, right? They want me. They're trying to send me an offer letter, but this manager is not letting me go.
Mm-hmm.
He said the only way that you're going to leave this department is if you lateral out
Yeah.
of this department. So I'm devastated, right? I'm devastated. I'm infuriated. I'm mad. I'm anxious. I'm angry. I'm sad. I'm depressed. It's just train of emotions just hitting me every
Mm-hmm.
single day. Fast forward, I don't get the job, of course.
Yeah.
Fast forward a couple of months later, I'm now in Orlando doing another job, lateral, because that's how he wasn't going to approve any promotion. So the only way I was able to leave that department that I was in previously was if I lateraled out. So I
Mm-hmm.
lateral out, whatever the case may be. And then I find out that the promotion that I was going to take, of course, I knew it was in San Francisco. But what I didn't know was how much I was going to be making
Mm-hmm.
in San Francisco. And if you know anything about San Francisco, it's one of the most expensive
Yeah.
cities in the world. And I was only, well, I don't want to say only, but I wasn't going to make anything close than what I needed to survive in
Mm.
that city by myself.
Wow.
And I learned that maybe like 2 months ago. And when I tell you, I broke down, and not because, again, I'm very sensitive and
Yeah.
very emotional, but I broke down not because I didn't get the job or anything like that. I just broke down because I knew in that moment. And then again, like I always say, like I say things to myself so much like, this is happening for a reason, this is happening for a reason, happening for a reason. But I'm not believing what I'm
Yeah.
saying to
Yeah.
myself until something happens. Like that moment, I was like, this is the reason that this happened. I just
Mm-hmm.
didn't know what the reason was, and I couldn't. But I would repeat it to myself. There's a reason. There's a reason. There's a reason. There's a reason. There's a reason.
Yep.
There's a reason. But I repeated so much to myself that I didn't believe it.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I learned how much the role was paying, back then I would have taken it. Like I would have taken it and ran with it because I wanted to leave that department so bad.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I was gonna be miserable. I wasn't gonna be. I wasn't gonna make it. I wasn't gonna be able to pay rent. Like I was going to be such in a miserable place, and this job is so
Mm-hmm.
difficult that I was going to be in a crazy job, for one. For two, I wasn't going to make enough money to live like where I was living. So I was
Mm-hmm.
going to be miserable. I was still going to be in debt. Like it was going to be such a bad situation.
Mm-hmm.
And I finally got the reason why. And then it's the same thing like I was saying with living my life. Like I want to live my life the best I can.
Yep.
But I said it to myself so many times that I wasn't believing or putting it into action until one of my best friends passes away
Mm-hmm.
like this. And that's why I say this year has been so good and so bad to me at the same time that I just, I there's no way but to love this, this journey that this year has put me through personally.
Yep.
And you know, it just goes to say that, trust the process. Do
Yeah.
trust the process. And there is a reason why things happen and don't happen. And it might take you a little longer to figure out, or it might take you 10 years to find out why it wasn't, why what you wanted 10 years ago. But
Mm-hmm.
just trust and believe that there's a reason why.
Yep. And eventually, like, so don't wait around for it. Just like accept it. Like, just accept it and be like, all right, this is what my reality is,
Yeah.
and just move forward. And I'm like excited for whatever's left for the year, both the highs and the lows. Just from everything
I
I've
am too.
learned this year, is just like accept it. Like I like intentionally sometimes, like in order to have that mindset, I will
Mm.
literally like tell myself multiple times, like in the day and every day that passes on, I'm like I'll make a prayer for myself, and I'll and like to God, and I'll say, and like, put me through something, like mold
Mm-hmm.
me, do whatever you got to do to me, even if it means I got to struggle, if it means I got to hit rock bottom, whatever. And I do that to frame my mindset to know that when a problem comes up, I'm ready for it. Instead of
Right.
me thinking of like, oh, I want this promotion, I want this new car, and I'm only thinking about the good things. And then when something bad happens, I freak out, and then it's like, whoa, and I wasn't expecting this. Instead, I'm the opposite, and not like really pessimistic. It's just being real, like being grateful, and then
Mm-hmm.
looking forward is like prepare me, in any
Yeah.
way that you need to see fit, because I want to grow. And obviously, for you
Mm-hmm.
to grow, it's going to require change, and
Yeah.
wherever there's change, there's always going to be resistance.
Yeah.
So from there, I'm like, whatever it takes, I'm ready for it. So
Yeah.
that's our mindset that needs to be like for what's coming forward, and to prepare
Mm-hmm.
for that, and to just start moving that way.
Yeah. I
So,
agree.
I really had a fun time talking with you, Ernie,
I
today.
did too. It was a great conversation, man.
Thank you so much.
All right.
So do you use social media a lot?
Yeah, I use not a lot, but I do use it quite often.
All right, well, you
Yeah.
can like send it to me. You guys can follow
Yeah.
Ernie. I'll have you like on my description.
Cool.
You guys can obviously follow the podcast. I have my Instagram page at Go M.A.D official. You can follow me at Chris Go M.A.D. And also, if you're watching this on YouTube, you can find all the information on there, or wherever you're listening to this. So as we all invest in ourselves and grow ourselves and show others how to do the same, we can all go mad. So I'll catch you guys, and I'll catch you,
Perfect.
Ernie, on the next one.
All right. Thanks, man. Have a nice day.
No problem, man. You too.
Bye.